Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. I hope all of you have had a great week and I hope you're looking forward to an enjoyable and productive weekend. Welcome Kushi, Lee, Anvar, Divya, Tuan. Nice to see many students in the class. Hi, Tanush. Good to see our members joining in as well. While we wait for some more of your peers, this is an IELTS listening section lesson. We're focusing on part 3 and part 4 with the Band 9 goal in mind. The lesson is presented to you and the materials are coming from aehelp.com. For academic IELTS success, visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com. On both of those websites, we have lots and lots of content to help you improve quickly for your IELTS exam. Welcome, Shahid. Our academic IELTS website looks like this. You can click this big red button to join the premium package. It's a one-time payment, it's lifetime access, and it's well worth it. After you click that and you join, you will have a My Student account. In your My Student account, you will have computer-based practice exams, a full online course for the academic IELTS. You'll have workbooks, study plans. You'll have over 100 hours of HD lesson videos. You'll have some audio CDs that we will be using today for our listening in just a moment. For the general IELTS, it's the same idea. It's the green background. Again, click this big red button to join the premium package. There we are an official British Council IELTS test registration center and certified agent, so you're in great hands with us. We help thousands of students every day to succeed. You can also, of course, download and install our apps, Academic IELTS Help, links to aehelp.com, General IELTS Help, links to gieltshelp.com, so you can learn from the same account through your app and your web account. And if you have questions, you can always just send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com. Hi, An. Welcome to the lesson. Diboryek, Rahul, good to see more and more students in the class now. So right now, listening part 3 and part 4, we're going to get into it. It's the more challenging parts of listening. Tomorrow, we will have a question and answer session for members, and we'll have speaking part 3 for everyone. That's coming up tomorrow. So yesterday we did listening part 1 and 2. And as I showed you yesterday, during the 1-minute introduction time, when they introduce the listening section and tell you about the IELTS and how the listening works, you should look at the topics for part 2, 3, and 4 so that your brain starts to work on these ideas. And we did that yesterday. So we know that right now, part 3 is going to be some kind of a group project. Okay, all right. And then we know that part 4, which we'll also be doing today, is something about climate change. So if you missed yesterday's class, no worries. You can check that out later today. It's on our YouTube channel. But right now, part 3, group project, part 4, something about climate change. Okay. Rahul, you can find speaking partners on our websites as well. Okay. All right. Here you see section 3. It's called part 3. It's CD1, track 3 on our website. I'm going to play the audio through my headset microphone and a nice Bose speaker. If it's quiet for you, turn up the volume. Students, please save your answers until we're finished the listening. Don't put them in the chat, because if you're putting wrong answers in there, or if you're putting right answers in there, it's just confusing other students and it's not helping them. So let everybody figure it out on their own, and then we'll share at the end, okay? So we're going to start the listening. get ready to listen and answer these questions. And then we'll talk strategy, and we'll get to share the answers one by one. So here we go, everyone. Get ready to listen.
Audio. You will hear 3 students organising a class project. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 26. I just got an email from the professor saying the due date for our European History group project has been pushed back to Monday.
Great! That means we'll have the weekend to work on it.
I suppose that's good news, but I don't really want to do any homework on my weekend. I had planned to go away with my girlfriend for some relaxation this weekend.
I suppose that's understandable. Maybe we should just have it done by Friday, the original due date. That gives us today and Thursday to finish it.
We can do that, I think. I'm available tomorrow. How about we spend today planning it, assign tasks to take home with us and do tonight, and then meet tomorrow and put it all together? Does that sound right?
That works for me.
That doesn't work too well for me. My afternoon is very busy. I guess I'll just have to burn the midnight oil tonight.
What has you so tied up, Evan?
I have a basketball game after school today, and then my favourite football team plays this evening at 7. It's okay though. I'll get the work done. Let's get started on the planning.
Alright, so we have to come up with a 3-panel poster about a topic in European history. I already bought the material for the poster, so we don't have to worry about that.
How much was it?
It was £3.
OK, we'll each give you £1 for the poster board.
No, don't worry about it. My dad paid for it anyway.
Sounds good to me.
Right then, since there's 3 of us, my idea was that 2 of us could take care of the writing part of the project, while 1 of us could look after the artwork, making the poster look smart.
I'll do the artwork. I think I'm a pretty good artist.
I'll be happy to do half the writing. What topics are we going to choose?
Well, the professor said the topic has to be an event that took place somewhere between 1400 and 1800, so we can't do either of the world wars.
That's too bad. My dad is an expert on the Second World War, and he could have helped me with my part. What are we going to do instead?
You now have some time to look at questions 27 to 30. Now listen to the rest of the discussion and answer questions 27 to 30. I was reading my textbook the other day and I read some really interesting information on the French Revolution.
That's a really good idea.
I know. How about instead of doing a summary of the French Revolution, we write about some of the people involved instead?
Oh, I like that idea. So who are some of the important people?
Well, there's the King, Louis XVI.
Robespierre was important, I think.
Yes, he was. And of course, Napoleon Bonaparte.
We should have 4 people, so you can each write about 2 people.
How about Marie Antoinette?
OK, so we have 4 historical figures. Each of you are going to write about 2. Now we have to decide how much we're going to write. Remember, we have to fill up a 3-board poster.
That's a good point about the 3-board poster. Maybe we should do a 5th person, then we can have 2 figures on each side with 1 in the middle.
Good idea. We can make the middle one really important. We'll make that one Napoleon. As for a 5th person, how about Voltaire?
Good. So how about I do the important one on Napoleon and a smaller one on Robespierre?
Okay, and I'll do the other 3.
How long should each topic be?
I'd say 200 words each for the small ones and 450 for the big one on Napoleon.
I think that sounds about right. What do you think about meeting up later on?
That is the end of section 3. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
And use that half minute to check your answer, students. I'm just going to stop the audio here, and then we'll go through the answers together, starting with the first one, which was a little bit tricky. Some Sayev, set your YouTube to 720p to get a clear picture. Okay, we're streaming in real time. That's why you need to do that 720 setting so that you can have a clear picture. Okay. All right. First question here is, what day of the discussion does this take place? So what day of the week does the discussion take place? Shubham, a fantastic 8 overall. Good for you. Send me an email. I'd love to get your testimonial. Okay, Marjona thinks it's Thursday. Miyen thinks it's Friday. Irfan thinks it's Friday. Kush Nguyen says it's Friday as well. Ferdov says it's Friday, but unfortunately, you're all wrong so far. The correct day is Wednesday. So this is what's called an inference type question. You have to listen carefully, and based on the information that they say, you can figure out what day it takes place. Kush says, bummer. All right. I'll show you how we can figure out that it's Wednesday. So if you're not sure about an answer, when you're practicing at home, check out the transcripts. Okay. That means the script for the audio. Okay. All right. So just get to these questions here. Okay, so here they are. They're talking with each other. Here's Megan. Megan says, I just got an email from the professor saying the due date for our European history group project has been pushed back to Monday. Okay, and then Anna says, great, that means we have the weekend to work on it. And then Evan, the man, says, I suppose that's good news, but I don't want to be doing homework on my weekend. So Megan says, okay, that's understandable. Let's just have it done by Friday. The original due date, that gives us today and Thursday to finish it. So that's where it's coming from, today and Thursday. And then you actually get a little bit more help, okay, when you're listening. So Anna says, we can do that, I think. I'm available tomorrow. How about we spend today planning it, do the tasks tonight, and then meet tomorrow and put it all together. And then hand it in Friday. So just a sec, gotta drink some water here. So from these words, we can figure out that there's talking to each other on a Wednesday. So today and Thursday to put it together, hand it in on Friday. Okay? All right? So that's how that works. Okay? Riza's asking, can we hear it again? But I think, Riza, you understand now from looking at the transcripts, right? So everybody sees that now. Let's go back to the question. The easiest way to give that answer in your actual exam, nice and quickly, is just write the abbreviation for Wednesday, all in capital letters. So all you really need to do here is put that, and you'll get it correct. Okay, Wednesday. All right? That's all you have to do. Riza says, I got it. Kamram Bek says, double thumbs up. Okay, Shahid, not Friday. Zohid, not Friday, but Wednesday. All right. And they say, let's hand it on the original due date, which is Friday. Again, this is part 3, right? So part 3 and part 4 of the IELTS listening are more challenging. They're not going to just directly give you an answer. They're not going to go, okay, we are having this discussion on Friday. For part 3, it's not going to be that easy. So really pay attention, okay? All right, so here we have a chart completion. For chart completion, really pay attention to the titles of the columns and rows. So here it's the group task, and then here when the task is to be completed, and really follow logic, okay? So today, what are they doing? Number 22. And I think it's quite simple, okay? Space odd jobs, if the question says no more than 2 words and it only needs 1 word, but the other word that you're using is accurate, it's an adjective, you'll still get that right, okay? Jack, William, Irfan, Miyen, they're all saying planning, and that's correct, they're planning. Okay, very good. Yeah, they're planning the project today. That's what we're listening to, right? They're talking about their 3-board poster, okay? They're doing the project tonight. So after their discussion, they all go back home and they do the parts that they discussed. And then here, putting together the project, number 23, should be pretty easy. I mean, today, tonight, this, and then hand it in on Friday, right? Yeah, Jack, William, Irfan, very good. 23 is tomorrow. Just make sure you pay attention to the spelling here. The double R, tomorrow, that sometimes gets students. For Dobbs, for 23, if you say putting together the project Friday, you'll get it wrong because they're actually putting together the project Thursday, okay, not Friday. Friday, they're handing in the project. So be really careful, but you shouldn't put Thursday here. You should just put tomorrow. So today, tonight, tomorrow. You can use a capital. I mean, they use capitals here, but you don't have to. It's a proper noun. It's a common noun, I should say. Correction. It's a common noun, so it doesn't need a capital letter, okay? Just be really careful with spelling, right? Okay, and you should be visualizing this, okay? Imagine that you're one of the 3 students that's working on this project. Okay, so then they talk about this 3-board poster, and maybe you've done this kind of project in your school. It's very popular for science fairs, for class presentations. You have this kind of large cardboard that you put on a table, and then you have some pictures and some information like that. Okay, here they're going to be about historical figures. So this is kind of what you should have seen here. Who paid for this poster board? All right, Miyen says it's B. Marjona agrees, Blueberry. Jack, William, they all think it's B, one of the woman's fathers. Yeah, she says, they said, oh, we'll each give you £1. And she says, oh, don't worry about it. My dad paid for it anyway. Dads appreciate it if you put some money in their pockets, let me tell you. But sure, that's what dads are for. Okay, yeah, it was B. It was one of the woman's father. Yeah, because she says, I got the poster board, and then they're like, oh, we'll give you some money. And then she's like, yeah, don't worry about it. My dad paid for it. Not a big deal, right? Dad's got money. All right, so I'll probably put that figure up there again for you, but yeah, it was one of the woman's dads. Okay, so here we go. 25, 26, short answer. I'm glad, Marjona and Sarita, that I got a good laugh out of you. You know what I mean by it. All right, so question 25 to 26. Write no more than 3 words and or a number for each answer. Here you needed 2 for number 25. The topic must be an event that occurred sometime between the years something and something. So Baccarat, Marjona, Jack Williams say 14 and 1800. Yeah, that's all you need. And you don't need the and, maybe a comma like that, because you have the word and here, so you don't need it. You just simply need these two numbers, 1400, 1800. Yeah. Okay. 15th and 19th century. Okay. Very good. All right. It looks like a lot of you got that. Excellent. Okay, number 26. What topic would the male student like to write on but cannot due to assignment restrictions? And here, this man says, that's too bad. My dad's an expert on this topic. He could have really helped me. Blueberry says it's the World Wars. Ferdov says it's the Second World War. Now, be very careful, students. This is a name. It's the name of a specific war, like the Japan-Russian War, for instance, or the Japan-Korea War, or the Vietnam War. It's the name of a war. So you have to use capital letters for this. And the easiest way to do it, Baccarat, bam, thumbs up. That is the easiest way. Irfan, Second World War is pretty tricky. The easiest way is World War II. Just like that. So World War II, okay? Big W, and then Roman numeral II. Not Great World War. World War II. There was World War I, there was World War II. This is World War II. Okay? So that's the easiest way. Right? If you want to write it out, you can write World War II. You could do it like that as well. Or you could write Second World War as well. So there's lots of other ways. Harry, if you write World War II with small W's, you'll get it wrong. It's the name of a war, so you have to use capitals. So be really careful when it's a name. Okay? World War without two is not correct, so this would also be wrong because there are two world wars, right? So World War I, which started in 1914, and then World War II, which began in 1939. So you need to make sure you identify the correct one, okay? All right. So we're definitely becoming global. In the last 100 years, we've had 2 world wars and now world pandemic. All right. So here we go. Hopefully beautiful things for the next 100 years in the future. All right. So here we go. Where do the students decide to put each historical figure? So they talk about some people. They talk about this event. The event is... let me ask you this as a bonus question. What are they actually doing their project on? We didn't ask about that. Habibulo, welcome as well. So what are they actually talking about here? So before we get into these, what is their project going to be on? Okay. It's a good question. All right, before we talk about each of these people. So Robespierre, Rousseau, Louis the 16th, Napoleon Bonaparte. Irfan, it's not about French historians. Okay, these are not French historians. Napoleon was the emperor of France at one point. Okay, some of these, this was the king of France. Okay, so these are not French historians. Yeah, that's right, Baccarat. French Revolution, and Baccarat put the R as capital as well. Okay, French Revolution. Why is the French Revolution important? I always teach this to students when we do this lesson because it's so important for you to know this. It doesn't matter if you are in India, Brazil, China. It does not matter. Why is the French Revolution so important for human history? Very good question. Okay. So all of you should know this because all of your lives are affected by this. So this is a little sidetrack history lesson here. why is the French Revolution? And when you do the IELTS exam, you should have some general knowledge like this in your pocket, meaning in your head, not in your actual pocket, because IELTS is more than just an English exam. It is testing your knowledge of the world around you, and understanding a couple of key pieces of information are very, very important. So Space Odd Job says it freed people from the enslavement of the higher class. Okay. Yeah, there's even a better way to say that, Space Odd Jobs. Ois says it made freedom a basic part. Yeah, French Revolution is the birth of modern democracy. Okay. So, if you're living in a society where you get to vote for your leaders, for the most part, okay, it's not everywhere yet in the world, but where you get to vote for your leaders and say, that's the person who I want to be the leader of my province, my country, my city, that's kind of thanks to the French Revolution. So before the French Revolution, it was all about kings and queens and upper class and the ruling class, and everybody else. They were farmers, peasants, no schooling. You just had to do what you're told. If you don't do what you're told, there goes your head. Okay? The French Revolution, the French overthrew their monarchy, their system of kings and queens, and they said, no more. We now want to elect our ruling government who controls the affairs of the people, and it's the right of the people to choose their leaders in free democracy. Okay? So you should know that. And then, of course, many other countries and nations over the next 100 years followed in the steps of the French, and they said, hey, that looks like a pretty good idea. Why should I give all my food and money to the king? I worked for it. I deserve some of that. So that is the French Revolution. Very, very important part of modern human history. Okay, so we have this 3-board poster. Okay, and they're putting people on the sides, a very important one in the middle. Who are these people? So number 27, Robespierre. A, on the side of the poster. B, in the middle of the poster. Or C, they don't include this figure. Marjona says 27 is A. Robespierre is going on the side of the poster. There's Robespierre, smiley, happy. Yeah, A is correct for Robespierre. Rousseau, side, middle, not on the poster. Okay? So side, middle, not on the poster, 28. Hari says 28 is C. Not on the poster. Yeah, we don't hear about that person. We don't hear the name Rousseau. Okay? All right. Louis the 16th, the king. Side of the poster, middle of the poster, or not on this poster. So 29, Louis the 16th, the king of France, who obviously lost his head in the French Revolution. Yeah, the king goes on the side of the poster. He was definitely a key part of the French Revolution, but not the most important part. Napoleon Bonaparte, very famous historical figure. Where does Napoleon go? Number 30, last question. Napoleon on the side. Yeah, he was arguably kind of the leader of the French Revolution. He's in the middle. Very important. There is Napoleon with his characteristic hat in the middle of the poster. Okay, and there was also a woman that they talked about. This is another bonus question here. Who's on the side of the poster. And then another famous poet that goes on the side. Anybody catch the woman's name? You should know that. She's a very popular female character in history. Anybody know the name of the woman? And unfortunately, she lost her head in the French Revolution, but she was very controversial. A lot of people really liked her, and it was very sad that she also perished during the French Revolution. That's right, Perth. It was Marie Antoinette. Very good, Marie Antoinette. She was a friend to the people, but she was a noble, so they couldn't let her live. Baccarat, Madame Curie is a very different person who came much later in history. Madame Curie, of course, being accredited with inventing the X-ray, but that's different, Baccarat. Okay, so those are the answers, and now we'll go on to section 4. So for section 4, it's going to be a little bit faster. There's no breaks. I'm going to play the audio, listen and answer, and we'll go through the answers together. Okay? Baccarat, guessing is not bad. If that's all you got left, then hey, might as well, right? Okay, let's just hop back to the website here. And let's go with listening section 4. Keep your answers until the end. Here we go.
Now turn to section 4. Take some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Listening section 4. You will hear a professor discussing climate change. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Hello class, hope you all had a good weekend. Today we will be talking about climate change. Life on Earth is going to have some adapting to do if climate scientists are correct with regard to their predictions of the Earth's rising atmospheric temperature. Humans and animals alike may have to change both their habits and habitats. The average temperature on the Earth's surface has risen by an estimated 1 degree centigrade in the last 100 years, and this trend is continuing at an ever-increasing speed. Until now, it seems that business and the environment have met as adversaries. But with the growing profitability of green products, perhaps business can play a positive role in the fight to save the environment. There is an ever-growing consensus that the cause of climate change can be linked to human action. To be more specific, environmental change is caused by the emission of greenhouse gases. Carbon dioxide is chief among these. So what's so bad about things getting a little warmer, you may wonder? Weather patterns could become more extreme. The polar ice caps could melt. Sea levels could rise, and instances of famine due to drought could also increase. On the other hand, places such as northern Canada will likely become more productive for farming and mineral and crude oil extraction. What isn't positive about the permafrost melting is that the ice is a carbon sink, and when it melts, it releases even more carbon into the atmosphere. It's clear that humans will have to change their relationship with the Earth and its resources, but the debate remains over who should be leading that change. Advocates of personal responsibility claim that small personal measures, such as changing light bulbs or riding a bike, can make a significant difference. On the other hand, governments from developing countries are calling for economic reparations to be paid by developed nations because, after all, it is the rich who cause most of the environmental damage and made money from it. The other major group that has profited from our increasing environmental degradation are corporations. Business has always been about production and consumption. The invisible hand of supply and demand has long run our economic system, and now there is an ever-growing demand for conservation. The question is, when will consumer demand be commensurate with green technological advances that allow for environmentally friendly products to actually be more profitable than those that pollute? One option to speed up this process is to have governments impose true cost taxes on every product that is sold. This would force prices to include an economic pressure to purchase or use products that will not cause further environmental degradation or carbon emissions. There is little doubt that climate change is going to cause a drastic difference to our environment and way of life. The questions that remain to be asked revolve around how to solve the climate crisis and who will pay for the restructuring of our patterns of consumption that have led to these problems. With the ever-growing desire for green consumer goods, perhaps businesses can answer some of these questions by producing environmentally sound products. Even if business has a role to play in saving the environment, it is clear that we all need to do our part.
That is the end of section 4. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
Okay, students, check those answers. And this is a very typical part 4. So when I did my IELTS exam in February, part 4 was almost exactly like this. It wasn't about climate change. It was about crops in Australia. Okay, so farming in Australia. But it was exactly like this format. It was one long paraphrased kind of summary with blanks for words, exactly like this. And then I had to fill in the blanks. Okay, so really, really similar. Here we go. Background information. It's climate change. We're visualizing this. Humanity, as well as other species, may have to drastically alter their something and something. Okay. Bakra Blueberry says habits and habitats. Yeah, and they're common nouns, so you can keep it all small. Habits. Habitats, right? So habits are behaviors and habitats are places we live. Canada is becoming very, very popular these days for that reason, right? People are finding it a good place to live. Earth's surface temperature has risen an estimated 1 degree centigrade in the past century. Businesses and environmentalists have been at odds with one another, but the emergence of something may change this. So here you really had to pay attention. This is a noun. Okay, this space fits a noun. The emergence of some kind of a product. Yeah, very good, Hari. So Hari and Bakra both say it's green products. Blueberry, yeah, be confident, okay? So green products like rechargeable batteries, biodegradable bags. I think one that people are starting to realize now are paper straws, right? Plastic straws are disappearing and they will completely disappear supposedly by the end of this year. So those are green products, products that are more environmentally friendly. All right, pay attention to the subtopics, causes and implications. So what is causing climate change and how is it affecting life? Climate change is caused by greenhouse gases. Specifically what? So specifically carbon dioxide. Irfan, Jack William, very good. Easiest way to give this answer is what Hari did. So Hari just did this, CO2. And that's all you need. Okay, so it saves you on a spelling mistakes. CO2. Carbon dioxide. So if you know the abbreviation, much faster, much easier. When the text is going so fast, I definitely recommend using short form. Okay. Warmer weather can cause extreme weather patterns. Ice caps could melt and famine could occur. Northern Canada may become a beneficiary. As far as food production is concerned, it could become a more productive place for what? And it's already happening, everybody. That's the scary part. It's already happening. So Northern Canada could become a more productive place for farming. Yeah. I live on Vancouver Island, and when I was a little kid, my parents used to take the seeds from avocados in hopes that they would get an avocado tree, but it always died. It would grow about maybe 1.5 meters, and then it would just die. Avocado needs warm climate. guess what, everyone? We can now grow avocados on Vancouver Island. So since my childhood, the temperatures have changed so much, and they say that in the next 10 years, Vancouver Island will become a great place to grow avocados. So the world is changing. It's becoming warmer in many places, for sure. All right. So my parents can finally grow their avocado plants. Okay, after waiting for, 30 years or so. Okay, so here we go. A big negative is that the melting permafrost contains a lot of carbon, which will be released if the ice caps melt. For part 4, it's important to read with the actual listening so it makes sense. Okay. Who is going to change? People who think each person is responsible for themselves believe that small steps such as using energy efficient bulbs is okay, or light bulbs, is more accurate. Light bulbs. Okay, a light bulb is this object here. All right, you're all familiar with it. You're probably all using one right now. So light bulbs, energy efficient light bulbs, LEDs, right? A LED would be considered an energy efficient light bulb. An LED uses way less electricity, gas, doesn't need that piece of glass and metal. Very bright. Okay, so LEDs. Governments from developing nations want developed countries to pay them for causing such environmental damage. Fair enough, right? Economics, of course, money is a big part of this. The something of supply and demand. Blueberry, very good try. The invisible hands, almost. Jack William, excellent. That was a tough one. That's a band 9 level question right there. It's the invisible hand. Invisible hand. It's just singular, okay? The invisible hand of supply and demand has been in charge of economics for a long time. People want it, companies build it, they sell it. Economists wonder when consumer demand for environmental products will surpass products that pollute. One solution to this problem is to install or institute a something tax. Okay, what kind of a tax is that? Blueberry says true cost. Irfan agrees. Drug go up. True cost tax. And that's starting to happen. Bonus question. What product that we all use commonly has a true cost tax, environmental tax on it? Just so you understand what it means, this true cost tax. Who can tell me that? Okay, so it's, again, some good listening, good English. So there's a product that we all commonly use that has a true cost tax because of the environmental damage. What product is that? Okay, we all pay for this, or most of us will pay for this at some point, maybe even today. Verma says plastics. Harry says electronic products. That's not what I'm thinking of, but possibly Verma. Green products definitely do not have that tax. Plastic bags, very good, Mien. So plastic bags, I wasn't thinking of plastic bags, but plastic bags is one. So when you go to the store now and you have to pay extra for the plastic bags, it's because the store is being pressured to pay that true cost tax. There's another one, though, that we use. Not makeup, Hassan. Vroom, 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 vroom. There we go. I can't read the Arabic, but it's petroleum. Absolutely. Oil, right? So oil and gas. You pay an extra tax for oil and tax, not wrapping, Raul, okay? Petroleum. Yeah, petroleum. Petroleum and plastic bags have true cost tax in most parts of the world. Gasoline, yeah, absolutely. Okay. So it exists. So these words make sense. I think sometimes when students do the IELTS, they think it's like some weird information in outer space that's not connected to them, and it's just some evil exam that's made to give people a difficulty in life and for school and immigration, but it's not though, really. IELTS comes from the real world, okay? And that's a really important point to keep in mind, is that IELTS comes from the world around you. It's designed with information, questions and answers that affect 99% of people in the world, okay? Or 95% of people in the world. So keep that in mind. Everybody got that, right? So it's bad thinking when students think that, wow, I don't know anything about that. It's not even a part of my life. It's not true, okay? IELTS, for most of it, will have information, questions, and answers that very much is a part of your life. And if you don't know it, you probably should. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, Andre says, yep, got it. All right. Okay, so institute a true cost tax on each purchase, which is deemed to be environmentally unfriendly. Okay. This would provide an economic something to buy environmentally friendly products. What is it? Drago Up says pressure. Diorbek and Blueberry agree. Yeah, pressure. Economic pressure, right? So guess what? Tesla electric cars, they're becoming way more popular. Why? Because you don't have to pay that petroleum tax, right? In fact, they will give you money to help you buy your Tesla car, your electric car, to help save the environment, right? So there's your pressure to buy environmentally friendly products. It's no surprise that Tesla's stocks are going up like crazy, right? Rahul, good luck on your exam on Saturday. Okay. All right, so the conclusion, where are we going with all of this? Climate change is going to change our way of life. Who will pay for the necessary changes in our consumption patterns? With the growing demand for environmentally friendly goods, it is arguably someone or something, some entity, which can best answer this question. It's a noun here. Irfan believes that 39 should be businesses. I agree, Irfan. Businesses are business. Yeah, so companies like Tesla, for instance, right? So companies like Good Earth that create environmentally friendly products. It is apparent, however, that some have a responsibility to look after the environment. So 2 words here. It's kind of a nice way to end it. Karan says people. Hari says we all. Yeah, and it can't be everyone, because everyone has a. So it's we all have. Yeah, we all have a responsibility. So each of us should do our part to take care of the environment. All right, fantastic, students. So that's an IELTS listening section, and I think you've all done a great job of giving you lots of tips and tricks to improve your band score. How did you do out of 40? So if you were here for yesterday's class, and you were here this class, you should have a total now. Andre says, awesome. Hopefully it'll all go great. Students, you can check your score on our website at the very bottom. There is a score calculator. Let me just darken the screen momentarily so that you can kind of see this. Okay. Here we go. So there's your score calculator. You click on that score calculator on the website, and bada bing, bada bang, there comes the listening. So Marjona says 37. Marjona, it's pretty good. A 37 is an 8.5, okay? Verma says 32. 32 is a 7.5. Diraj Kumar says, I got 20 out of 40. 20 out of 40 is a 5.5. Okay. Jack William, 25, is a band 6. Okay. And Duke Duong says, I got 30. 30 is a band 7. So again, you can check your scores on our websites, okay? This is aehelp.com for academic IELTS. General IELTS, it's gieltshelp.com. Again, all you have to do is click this big red button to join the premium package and start learning for success today. Students, that's it for now. Tomorrow I will be back with a question and answer session for members tomorrow. So members, have your questions ready. I will answer those questions tomorrow. And then we'll have a speaking part 3 practice at this time tomorrow as well. Let me brighten up the screen. It's just so that we brighten up our lives. You can see me more than just a silhouette. There we go. Hey, I'm back. Okay, Irfan, you're very, very welcome. Have a great start to your weekend, everyone. Hopefully I'll still catch you tomorrow for some more IELTS. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from beautiful Victoria. Keep up with your dreams, your ambitions. You are the only person that can make sure that your dreams become a reality. So persevere and push through. Bye for now, everyone. See you tomorrow. Much love to all of you, wherever you are.